In this video, we're going to learn about respiration, so we will cover what respiration is, how organisms use the energy from respiration, and finally, the different types of respiration, which are aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Let us begin by understanding what respiration is. If we think about the energy we use to function, the majority of it comes from molecules of glucose. To release this energy, we use a process called cellular respiration, which can be described as an exothermic reaction that transfers energy from glucose, and this process continuously occurs in living cells. So in simple terms, it involves breaking apart glucose molecules to release the energy that is stored inside. Notice that the term used is release energy because energy is not being created, it is only being transferred from the glucose molecule. It is important to note that we must not say that energy is created. Also, the term exothermic simply means that the reaction gives off energy. Before diving deeper into how respiration works, let us consider 3 examples of how organisms use their energy. One way is by building larger molecules from many smaller ones, for instance, combining amino acids to form proteins. Another example is muscular contraction, which enables movement of our limbs and allows us to move around. And a third example is maintaining a stable body temperature so we can stay warm even in colder environments. As mentioned earlier, these are just a few examples. In reality, energy is essential for numerous reactions occurring within our body all the time. Now, returning to respiration, there are 2 main types you need to understand: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is the more commonly occurring type, and it happens whenever there is sufficient oxygen available, which is a crucial point to remember. It is by far the most effective method of transferring energy from glucose, and it occurs continuously in both plants and animals. More specifically, it takes place inside specialized subcellular structures known as mitochondria. The word equation for aerobic respiration is glucose plus oxygen produces carbon dioxide plus water. And in terms of a chemical description, although we are not using symbols here, this involves 6 molecules of oxygen and 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and water for each molecule of glucose. And that is because glucose is a comparatively large molecule with a formula that includes 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms, and 6 oxygen atoms. Now moving on to anaerobic respiration, which is essentially respiration that takes place in the absence of oxygen. This type of respiration occurs in situations where oxygen is in short supply, such as during intense physical activity, like sprinting, when the body cannot supply enough oxygen to the tissues to meet the demands of the more efficient aerobic respiration in human beings. The word equation for anaerobic respiration is glucose produces lactic acid, and there are 2 main reasons why this form of respiration is not preferred. The first reason is that glucose is only partly broken down, making the process inefficient since not all the energy stored in glucose is released. The second issue is that this process results in the formation of lactic acid, which is a toxic substance and therefore needs to be removed from the body at a later stage. The final topic to discuss is anaerobic respiration in plants and yeast, which differs slightly. In this case, the word equation is glucose produces ethanol and carbon dioxide, and in yeast this process is specifically called fermentation. This biological process can be utilized in various industrial applications. For instance, when making bread, we add yeast to the dough so that the carbon dioxide it releases forms tiny bubbles of gas that make the bread rise and give it a light, airy texture. Additionally, since fermentation also results in the production of ethanol, which is a form of alcohol, we also use yeast in the manufacturing of alcoholic beverages, such as beer and wine.